everyone, welcome to the Well-Educated Artist. I was just checking out a tile where I was using a different type of cell activator on it, and it's finally dry. So just a little test swatch there on my cell activator. And that's what I'm going to be talking about today, how to make a cell activator that is very similar to using Australian Floetrol and Amsterdam paints. Now we're still going to be using Amsterdam paints to do the cell activator because Amsterdam paints does a very good job of making a cell activator. So we're not going to switch that up, even though you probably can use other types of paints. I'm going to be using the Amsterdam paint. You can still get it fairly easy in the US. However, the Australian Floetrol, which is hard to come by in the United States, you can definitely use regular Floetrol, but it just doesn't work as well or as fast. So instead of paying the, I don't know, 60 some dollars that this little liter, and yes, I said liter, not gallon, so if you think that's a gallon jug you're going to be getting, it won't be. It'll be this cute little liter. We don't do liters except for soft drinks in America. So, yeah, liters, gas, no. We do gallons. Everything's in gallons. So if you don't want to pay the exorbitant prices for Australian Floetrol, but yet you want a very quick, very comparable cell activator, a lot of people have come out with a lot of cell activators, and I have my own. It's the Well-Educated Artist cell activator, and I'm going to show you how to make it today. My cell activator is not going to be using Floetrol. It is going to be using some things that you probably have hanging around your house, and it's not going to be complicated. We're not going to be weighing anything. I have found that you can just throw this together and generally it works. Now, I'm not going to say that 100% if you don't put the right ingredients in, it's going to work beautifully, but I do not measure. I am not getting out my kitchen scale to measure this. I just don't have patience for that. If you've watched my videos, you know I will say I do not have patience to allow for something to bloom. I do not have patience to do things. So this is for those who are impatient and who want to make a very cheap cell activator. Yes, it will use Amsterdam paints. It may work with other paints. I have had it work with other paints, but a surefire will be to use the Amsterdam paints. I am going to be using these little shot glasses, and I think they hold about 2 ounces. A regular shot glass holds about 1 ounce, but these hold about 2 ounces. So just to show you what I'm doing, I don't mix up a lot of cell activator at a time. So here are my cups. I've got that. Normally with Floetrol, you just mix quite a bit of Floetrol with a little bit of paint, and you know, you're good to go. That's it. For my cell activator, I am going to use my Amsterdam paints, and this one is Oxide Black, and this one is Payne's Gray. Now, I mix Payne's Gray with my Oxide Black. I know there's other blacks out there. I know there's Lamp Black that you can use, and I actually have used Lamp Black with Creative Impressions to do a pretty good job of making a cell activator before with my Floetrol. But if I'm going to use Amsterdam, I'm going to definitely put some Payne's Gray in there. You can slightly see the difference in the color. It's a little bit grayer, but it's a very, very dark gray. So I don't measure a thing. I just open up my black, put something in there. Yes, get in there. Okay, and then I just take a little bit of my Payne's Gray and do the same thing. Yay, that's it. So you can see how much that I use, not a lot for that. And then what I'm going to do is pull out my American Floetrol. This is the kind of size. See the size difference? Huge size difference between American Floetrol and the itty bitty Australian Floetrol. This one's about $15 and this one is about $65. Okay. So I'm going to take out my American Floetrol. And I believe I have some that I have already strained because American Floetrol is gunky and you need to strain it. If you're not familiar with it, you can use pantyhose. They make a strainer that will go on the top of this. You can use cheesecloth, whatever you want. You can put it through a strainer. I have been known to do that. For this, I did actually. And you have this. Just go ahead and open it up. This is my strained, nice, thick American Floetrol. Now, just to compare the two, and I don't want to waste my Australian Floetrol, so just to compare the two, you can see this one is very watery. This one is not. It is very thick. So watery versus thick. There are different ingredients in Australian Floetrol than there are in American Floetrol. So we're going to take our paint, just a little bit of paint, and we're going to add our American Floetrol. And as you can see, it's about an ounce or so of my American Floetrol. I actually can add just a little bit more. I want to leave room in the top of this glass so that I can put water. And you'll see how much water I use. And I may add a little bit of water depending. I can also add paint to thicken it. I'll show you what the consistency will be. So I am going to add my water. And I am going to get a stir stick. I'm just going to start stirring that up. This is just paint, American Floetrol, which you absolutely can use to do your cell activator with a lot. I think they say between 8, 9, or 10 parts. I've heard different things of Floetrol. So a lot of American Floetrol to your paint. So just a little bit of paint and a lot of Floetrol. That in itself is going to be a cell activator. That works okay. It's not going to develop quickly, but it will develop. So you're just going to mix that up really, really well. And the next part of it is something that you see me use all the time when it comes to skins and putting things together, is my diamond glaze. Now, diamond glaze, water-based dimensional adhesive, and it is water-based. It is not smelly, and I don't think it's toxic even. We're just going to take that, and I'm going to put a couple of drops. For something this size, where I'm only working with 1.5 ounces to 2 ounces, I'm just going to put a couple of drops. And really, that's about all you need, maybe just a little bit more. And you don't even have to use that much. This is a binder. The diamond glaze is an adhesive, kind of like a glue. And if you've heard of using, Elmer's glue wall and putting that into your cell activator, it's sort of like that, but it's diamond glaze. I have it handy, I like it, and it works. So that's the first thing I'm gonna do. Judikins is not my sponsor, but they can be. I do use it for everything, and it's in a lot of my videos. Okay, the next thing that I need, I'm gonna use a pipette for, because I am going to be working with odorless mineral spirits. Now, I have looked at lots and lots of cell activator concoctions. They have all kinds of things in it. Many of them are toxic. Many of them smell. This is a natural wood conditioner. I don't say natural, but it is a wood conditioner. And you often hear about putting wood conditioner into these kinds of things, these cell activators. Well, you can just use cheap old odorless mineral spirits. So all I'm going to do is get a little bit of my odorless mineral spirits, and I'm going to put just a few drops to thin it out. There are only 5 things in this cell activator. Okay, there is water, there is paint, Amsterdam paint specifically, there is diamond glaze, which is your adhesive, there is water, and there's mineral spirits, and very little glue and very little mineral spirits in this, and actually very little water, and it is distilled water. Now it looks a tad bit thick. If it is a tad bit thick and I've used a little more paint maybe than I would use, I'm going to add just a little bit of water, and I am going to thin that down. So add water to thin it. If for some reason it doesn't work for you, you've added too little mineral spirits, then you might add a little more mineral spirits. But I have plenty. I know that that's plenty just by eyeballing it. So I did not require anything. And yes, it still stinks. Mineral spirits stink. Anything that's going to break down your paint is going to smell. Let me show you how this works. Okay, I had to just grab a tile and some paint. All my paints are mixed with Beer 8300 and Joe Sonia varnish. Some of these are pigments, some of these are paints. This is a pigment, and this one is Plumeria from Color Art's Primary Elements line. The Peacock Pearl from Deco Art. This is a custom color with Artesa's Prussian Blue Violet, and also the gold, the interference gold mixed in. And this one's fun. This is one I use quite a bit. It's always nice and gooky. It's a color shift paint from Folk Art, Aqua Flash, and then this is May Springs Pure Copper, which actually is kind of good. This has been one I've been trying out. So it doesn't really matter what the colors are, other than if you're doing a bloom, you need a deep base to mix your pigments with and make sure they're all the same consistency. I'm going to be using house paint. This is Diamond Bright. It is plain house paint, And I am just going to put a little bit of that house paint here. Just like that, just like so. And I put a couple of my colors down, and I'm going to show you what my cell activator does. Got my big old Lazy Susan out for this. Takes up a lot of space. And I'm just going to go ahead and put my colors down. I'm going to just swipe this one and show you how it swipes, because I've done another one where I blow the bloom, so I'm going to let you see that one in just a second. But I'm going to show you that it does work very well for swipes. And sometimes your swipe bloom mixture has to be different, a little bit thicker than when you blow, which needs to be a little bit thinner. Now to do this, I'm just going to take my well-educated artist cell activator and put it on the back of my palette knife, and okay, you can already see it's an immediate activation on that. Nothing special, but just an immediate activation. Make sure that you guys can see it. I'll turn it around this way. And you have cells absolutely immediately, just like you do with the Floetrol, the Australian Floetrol, because there is American Floetrol in this. I didn't change that because it is readily available and it works. So you can see exactly how that's going to go down. Now, if you want to see, I do have Australian Floetrol, and actually, since I have some up here, I can mix a little bit extra. I'm going to do the same thing that I did with the other. I'm just going to put it up here so it's fresh. I think it's important to have fresh. And that was my Payne's Gray. And this is my Amsterdam Oxide Black. I may have to add a little bit of Floetrol. There we go. We'll see how that mixes up. Okay. It always is really gunky when you're first mixing it, but it looks okay. You have to mix it really well. Okay, that looks pretty good. So that's my Australian Floetrol. I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to add my white base. So you can kind of see a side-by-side comparison to using Australian Floetrol. I'm going to use the exact same colors that I used before, which I've now gotten out of order, but that's okay. I think I remember the order for these. So I'm going to do the exact same thing with my Australian Floetrol and Amsterdam paint. Try to get the same amount on the back of that, back of my palette knife. And I'm going to do the same thing. So you can see the Australian Floetrol and how it develops. Now notice that it is a little bit different. You see how tightly packed these are? They may be a little larger, I have to say. They sometimes are a little bit larger with the Australian Floetrol. Over time they do develop, and it also depends, you know, how much you move them around, how much you spin them, and so forth. So it might take a little bit of adjustment, but I will go ahead and I will show you up close. Now I did a lot of white cells on this side because my colors weren't exactly the same, but you can see this is the Australian Floetrol and this is the Well-Educated Artist, which has taken some time to develop. So I'm going to let this develop for just a minute. The colors are different. I have more light blue on this one, but you can see the cells. These cells are a little puffier, but I swiped differently. I didn't even swipe right here on this one. On this one I got all the way around. But you can see just how quick. They're very comparable as far as how quick you get the result. Okay, here they are close up. See some really cool stuff going on with both of them. This one's not had as much time to develop, but you can see the cells are a little bit poofier, and whether that's how I swiped it, It's hard to tell. Beautiful colors on this. Getting ideas for another video. Now let me show you when you blow what the difference is. For this portion of the video, I have sped it up for the sake of time so that you can see what happens when you blow both versions. Of course, this is the Australian Floetrol cell activator that you can see me mixing right here. It's my black activator with my Payne's gray and my oxide black. And this is just for you to see that, yes, I did indeed mix this one specifically for this round. Now I'm using the same paint here, the same base, which is a leftover paint. It's a slight lilac color. It works really well with these colors, and I'm using the exact same colors, most of them color order custom colors. And I'm just putting them down, and I'm going to put my Australian Floetrol cell activator over the top and give it a good blow. You won't be able to see the blow very much here. In the next one you will. I didn't have a side angle, and I'm just using a straw to blow that out just a little bit so you can see how quickly it reacts, and then in comparison to the well-educated artist version that I use, my cheapy version. So I'm just going to give it that good spin a couple of times and make sure it's centered, and you can kind of already see what's happening here. And then I will show you the final version of what I've got from the Australian Floetrol version. Now for the well-educated artist version, I'm going to use the same pillow and the same paint colors and just redo this bloom. I'm going to add my well-educated artist cell activator, and you can see I'm going to blow it right from the side so you can actually see it this time and see how the cells activate. And then I'm going to give it a couple of really good spins so that you can see all of the cells. So look at all the cells that we have with the well-educated artist, and this one is the Australian Floetrol. So these are side-by-side comparisons. And now I'll show you a true side-by-side comparison in the split screen. On the left, you see the Australian Floetrol version, and on the right, you're going to see the well-educated artist version. So they're very comparable. Now I'm going to also show you what they look like when they're dry. Okay, so take a look. Can you tell the difference between the Australian Floetrol cell activator and the well-educated artist cell activator? Take a look and see. Well, what's the difference? Well, one difference is one is a lot cheaper than the other to make. So check out some of the great cell activator recipes that are out there. You can check out mine. You can check out other recipes and look for some cheaper versions that work almost just as good as the Australian Floetrol version. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and definitely give me a comment and let me know what's up, and if you've tried out some cell activators that you like, or you've tried out my cell activator here. And thanks for watching. Until next time, bye now.